This is a video switcher and it's a monitor. It's an encoder, it's a recorder. It does so many things actually. And it's made by OBSBOT, and it can also control some of their cameras, including the Tiny 2, Tiny 2 Lite, OBSBOT Tail Air. So it does a lot of things. It's got NDI, SRT. Man, it looks very small because it's only 5-inch, but it's packed, it's full of features, and I believe it's gonna change the mobile live streaming game. So in this video, we're gonna take a quick look at the OBSBOT Talent and actually find out if this is something that you should invest into, especially if you do mobile live streaming. So let's go. What is going on, guys? Sam Production tips and tools here, helping you master live streaming. So OBSBOT just released the Talent, which is a around 5.4-inch little screen. This is what it looks like. I'm probably gonna turn it on so you guys have an idea. And it's a little monitor. It does almost everything that you may think of if you are into mobile live streaming, either you're doing sports or you're doing news coverage. I think it can actually do a lot of things. Before I actually turn it on, I have to insert some batteries, or I can actually power it using the power adapter. So before I actually turn it on, I just want you guys to know that it's actually battery powered. Okay, it's powered by these NPF type batteries, and you can plug up to 2 batteries. So right now, luckily I have 2 batteries like this. You can get the smaller ones because these are actually super heavy. I like that because for me they give me a lot of power. But if you feel like it's too heavy, you can use the small ones. Okay. Another thing, of course, if you don't want to use the batteries, you can actually use the power plug that comes with it. But if you're doing mobile streaming, you probably want to use the batteries. Again, as you can see, it becomes heavy as I attach these 2 huge batteries, but feel free to use the small ones. Okay. Another thing is going to come with these little stands here. So I want to make sure I insert them correctly. These 2 little stands here that you can use in case you're not using the batteries, just to cover the battery kind of compartment. And of course, it's going to keep it clean, but they can also be used as stands. If you want to mount it on the top of your camera or on a tripod, there's a little mount here. You can actually do that, no problem. On the sides here, we have 2 HDMI inputs, so you can input up to 2 HDMI cameras, which is awesome. So you guys can see that. And you got USB inputs. So you got 2 USB inputs, one here on this side and another one on this side. Basically, the 2 USB inputs will allow you to connect any webcam or any USB camera, which is awesome. So basically, I was able to connect the Tiny 2. Mostly, they're going to work well with the OBSBOT cameras. And it's got some PTZ control built into it, so you can control things like zoom in, like zoom out with the OBSBOT Tiny 2 cameras. You can do the pan and tilt. You can create some presets. It's actually super awesome. I tested it and it works really well, which is kind of amazing actually. Other than that, we have the on and off button. We have headphones jack to be able to monitor your feed, which is awesome. You have a microphone input to be able to connect something like a microphone. If you streaming, somehow you need to have microphone plugged into it. However, you can also still use your camera's microphone if you want to send audio through HDMI. Inside this little device, you actually have an amazing audio mixer that you can use to actually turn on and turn off different audio inputs coming in, especially the microphone input and versus the HDMI inputs or USB inputs for audio. Other than that, it does support Ethernet. So as you can see, we have an Ethernet port you can plug into Ethernet. And on the top of that, you have an SD card port if you want to use an SD card to record. Again, I've used up to 128 gig and it works perfectly. And on the top of that, it actually has a 64 gig internal memory. So even if you don't have an SD card, you can still record directly onto the actual device and you're gonna be able to record no problem, and it works fantastically. We have also USB Type-C out. So basically this is gonna allow you to, if you want to connect the device to your computer, if you are someone like me who does, video tutorials and stuff like that, and you want to send that to OBS for some reasons, which you should not do because it's supposed to be just a mobile device, you can still do that, but you can also use the USB Type-C to transfer files. So if you have recorded some things internally and you want to transfer the files to your computer, you can do that. But also if you want to preview on a big screen, right? Let's say you're doing a show where you have some sort of a small desk where you can set up an extra monitor. You can do that. You can set the USB Type-C out to what they call DP mode. So you can use like a display port monitor. So you're gonna need the USB Type-C to display port kind of thing for sure to do that. I believe if you have some USB Type-C monitors, they may be able to work as well, but I tried mine, it didn't work, so I'm not sure. But display port, that's what it says on the actual software inside the device, so that should work as well, and you're gonna be able to see like a bigger picture of what you're streaming. It does support Wi-Fi, which is great. It also does support cellular. However, it does not have any sort of slot where you can actually insert an actual SIM card. So to do that, you're gonna rely on the USB port, where you can actually buy like this little modem kind of dongle for SIM cards, and you can actually insert that. Now I'm testing that feature. I ordered mine from Amazon. By the time I record this video, I'm actually waiting for it to see if it works. But for Wi-Fi and Ethernet, it works perfectly, no problem. And it's an amazing device. Now on the back here, it's got this little fan to keep it cool. And again, I've used it multiple times and it doesn't overheat or anything. And one thing that actually didn't surprise me really, but something that I appreciated a lot is actually the fact that this thing is built tough. Now I've used the YOLO box in the past. I still use it. This is a really good device that I love, and I'm gonna actually, in my next video, I'm gonna be comparing the YOLO box to this little device. All right, but one problem with the YOLO box, if you drop it, in fact I think I gave it to my buddy, I think he scratched it or something, it's kind of plastic. The material is not super wow. This little thing, man, it's 100% metal. Feel it. Everything is metal, and it comes with this hood. By the way, the hood I attached to it, you can remove it if you don't need it. But if you're streaming, if you're doing some outdoors streaming, you may actually need to have this hood because it's gonna help you with the sun, which is something that the YOLO box doesn't have. Okay, again, this is not a comparison video, but I just wanted you guys to see really how good in terms of how actually tough this thing is built. Can you feel this? Everything is metal, so I'm assuming if I was to drop it, nothing will happen to it. For sure, I don't want you to drop it, but it's kind of built for like professional heavy duty use kind of thing. So just like that, I can just remove the hood if you don't need it. But again, as you can see, the hood still 100% metal. So if you guys can see it, and it's gonna come with these two screws that you use to make sure the hood is 100% attached. And then this is what it's gonna look like without the hood. So as you can see, man, this is the software. I have another video that I made actually showing you step by step how to set up everything, a full walkthrough of the software. But looking at the software is actually amazing, super responsive. You can add multiple sources. You can play back videos easily. Graphics are amazing. You got like scoreboards. You can customize everything. You got custom comments coming in. You can highlight comments on screen if you want to do that. You can ISO record if you want to record you can record up to 2 feeds at the same time. So you can record like your program out, HDMI in or USB in if you have a webcam. So it's really amazing. You can also, I thought I could stream to 2 destinations at the same time, but I tried it, it didn't work. Maybe this is gonna be something that will come in the firmware update, because you have 2 encoder kind of engines built into this little device. Now, again, by the time I record this video, I was able to record 2 feeds at the same time, but for streaming, couldn't work for streaming to 2 destinations at the same time. So hopefully they're gonna fix that. Another super exciting feature is actually the ability to have built-in NDI. So you can stream to NDI. I've tested it. It works perfectly. So you can have like all the good stuff coming in and then be able to, of course, you need to be connected to the same network and send to something like OBS over NDI or vMix or any other software that actually does take NDI. It works perfectly. I tried. Of course, it has custom RTMP and it has custom RTMP pull and push, so you can bring in like RTMP streams into your production, which is cool. On the top of that, you also have SRT, which means I can take this device somewhere, anywhere in the world, and be able to send an SRT feed, somebody covering an event somewhere downtown or in a different country, and be able to send me that feed back into something like OBS, vMix, or any other streaming software that takes SRT. This is major, guys. This is major. This means anyone can send you a feed using this little device from anywhere, as long as they have access to internet connection to you sitting, in your office, just switching cameras, for your production. So this is something that I really, really respect a lot. I love SRT. If you're doing remote productions, this is a cool feature to have, and I really love about the device. So overall, guys, I just wanna, full disclosure, I actually forgot to disclose that this device was sent to me by OBSBOT for the purpose of reviewing it. They're not sponsoring this video. They have sponsored one of my videos, but I'm always reviewing stuff from OBSBOT. So if you're familiar with my channel, sometimes that I actually, when OBSBOT make weird devices, I actually say it on the video. They don't get to approve what I say or watch the video before it's uploaded. So I want you to know that. So these are the pros. I feel like the device is really amazing. I personally like it. And I see myself, if I was to do a mobile live stream, I'll probably get smaller batteries. But there's one thing that I wanted to say about the batteries, the fact that they are actually swappable. So let me show you what I mean. So if I was, let's say one of the batteries has to be recharged, I can actually remove this battery. And as you can see, I just removed one battery and the device is still on. If I want to remove the second battery, what I would do, let's say I charge this one and it's full. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and insert the battery back. So now it's in and the light is on, the little green light, just to make sure we don't miss anything. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove the second battery. Boom. And as you can see, the device is still on. Again, it's not using any sort of internal battery. So this is a cool feature because most of the devices, something like the yellow box, again, here's another video comparing both devices. If your battery dies, it has an internal rechargeable battery. So if it dies, you're gone unless you have access to power to continue to kind of keep recharging it. But there's nothing else you can do. You're done, right? You're done for the day. So, but this one, I like the fact that I can even have like multiple batteries. And then whenever I need to swap the batteries, I can just remove one and insert another one. And it's just the fact that it's swappable, I think makes it more mobile, kind of friendly. And I think it's a nice feature. So I love that about the device, and kudos to OBSBOT. So when it comes to the software, again, as I said, the software is super responsive and it does work. I don't know if it's built on Android or if it's, I don't know how they built it. I'm not super savvy when it comes to those. I know the yellow box is built from the Android kind of OS, but the software is super responsive. I was able to do a lot of stuff with it. As you can see, you can just like, boom, it's like a mobile device, really just super responsive. You can do anything you want. You can add stuff, you can start recording, streaming. It's just super responsive. The audio is actually amazing, and I really love the device. Now, the price is actually a little surprisingly, I feel like it's a little high. It's $1,099. Unless it changes, again, prices may change, but by the time I record this video, it's almost $1,100. Now, is it worth it? I think if you do mobile recording or mobile streaming, you're definitely going to find this device very valuable. For that money, I think it's worth it. But there are also some other choices like the Yellow Box Pro, the Yellow Box Mini. The Yellow Box Mini is a little cheaper And depending, again, I don't have the YellowBox Mini to compare to this directly. I'm gonna be comparing to the YellowBox Pro. However, of course, there are some features that this device that has that the YellowBox doesn't have, the Mini doesn't have. So those are things that you're gonna need to consider depending on what you're looking for. My job is just to show you the device, how tough it is, what it does, and of course there's a lot of features that it has that the YellowBox doesn't have. So that's that. Another thing, again, I already addressed it to OBSBOT, is my screen is kind of reddish, so I feel like it's not accurate, the image that I'm getting on the screen, but I feel like it's probably my unit that had a problem, so I couldn't find a way to adjust it. But it's just a minor thing. If you use this monitor, this specific monitor, to monitor your image, again, personally, I'm not getting accurate colors, but it's probably my unit. And I think this is gonna be something that's gonna be easily fixed. I just have to mention it because that's what I have right now. So why don't you go ahead and let me know down below in the comment section what you think about the device, if you think it's actually worth $1,100, and if you're gonna be actually getting it for your mobile production. One thing that I did not mention, it does accept up to 4K video, so you can connect any 4K camera into the device, but it's going to output for your streaming and recording only 1080 60 frames per second. I mean, up to 60 frames per second. You can change the FPS, so you can change the frame rate, you can change the bit rate to accommodate whatever you're doing, either you're recording or streaming, depending on what platform you're streaming on. But again, it's gonna be capped at 60 frames per second, 1080p for streaming. So that's my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. But other than that, if you want to see a full walkthrough, gonna show you the whole thing, including the software, me going live on YouTube and testing SRT and NDI, you want to make sure you check this video right here, and I will see you there, guys. Take care.